이번 영상은 중국이 쥐고 있는 숨겨진 무기에 관한 CNBC의 분석입니다. 바로 미국 국채죠. 중국이 쥐고 있는 7,600억 달러어치 11조 2천억 원의 미국 국채. 이 무기가 세계 경제를 흔들지도 모릅니다. 중국이 미국 국채를 대규모로 매각할 가능성, 그에 따른 글로벌 금융시장의 영향을 분석합니다.
Well, thanks very much. This is the question. Will China hit back at Trump's tariffs by pulling, as what one guest in the morning told us, the nuclear option? That is, selling US treasuries, US bonds basically. According to many, it's the most powerful weapon in China's arsenal. I mean, it's not new. Every time there are these tensions, back in 2018 also, I remember, this was put out there. Will China dump its holdings of US bonds? So let's just quickly take a look at this, right? Will China retaliate by selling US bonds or not? Not just with words or counter tariffs, but real pain in the bond market. Now, a move like this could serve as a powerful financial market deterrent, much like weakening of the yuan's daily fixing. I mean, the last fix, not today's, but yesterday's fix showed that China is willing to tolerate lower yuan to increase the competitiveness for its goods. It will also, a move like this, when you dump bonds, yields shoot up. It will raise the cost of funding for US government.
국채는 미국 정부가 돈을 빌릴 때 발행하는 일종의 차용증입니다. 즉, 국채를 발행한다는 건 우리에게 돈을 빌려주세요. 이자는 드릴게요라는 의미죠. 반대로 중국 같은 외국 투자자가 기존에 갖고 있던 국채를 시장에 판다는 건 미국에 빌려준 돈을 중간에서 되팔아 현금화하는 거예요. 이렇게 시장에 국채가 많이 풀리면 수요는 줄고 가격은 떨어지며 그 결과 이자, 즉 수익률이 올라갑니다. 결국 미국 정부는 앞으로 돈을 더 비싸게 빌려야 하게 되는 거죠.
And of course, send that message that don't take our restraint for granted. Such a move, and how big is China's holdings of US government bonds? Let's just take a quick look. The last number I have is this. China holds, and if you can move the graphic along, is about China's holding of US bonds is about $760 billion. That is, just pure China. There are some reports which suggest that, you have to take some proxy holdings, etc., and then it becomes over 1 trillion, but direct holding about $760 billion. This graphic is also interesting. China's ownership of US government bonds as a percentage of total foreign ownership of US treasuries is about 8.9% now. What was the peak? It was 28% in 2011. Remember, foreign investors own about 30% of the entire US debt. So, these are very large numbers, and that's the reason why this comes up off and on. Now, the point also is this. If China decides to sell, US of course hurts, but China also hurts simply because it is one of the largest holders. A fire sale could devalue its own reserves. This is basically quite similar to how a large shareholder in a equity, in a company, when they sell stock, the stock can crash. Liquidity evaporates. There are not that many buyers. In this case, of course, if something like this happens, the Fed will have to step in, open up QE and suck in all these extra bonds which are coming in and hand over dollars to China. That's, of course, in the extreme kind of scenario. Now, one line of thinking is also this. Why sell? According to the numbers that I have, 60% of foreign holdings of US government bonds are in between the 0 to 5 year tenor. So they're not very long tenure bonds. They're between 0 to 5, max 5, 60%. And I'm assuming China's numbers are also the same. Simply run these bonds down. Don't reinvest when they come up for maturity. Don't buy more. So, your exposure automatically reduces. In any case, China's reserves, the trend there has seen one clear thing. They're buying more gold and they are buying lesser and lesser US government bonds. So this has anyway been happening over the years. Now, while we're only talking about China here, the bigger longer term question is this. Will we see overall foreign demand for US treasuries also more permanently impacted, caused by all this nastiness, for the lack of a better word, on tariffs and trade? Coming back to China, the Chinese central bank, the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, has a longer-term goal which is very public. They want to diversify their reserves, move away from US dollar and reallocate into other G10 currencies. That pivot also now makes more fundamental sense because, the rate differential between US and G10 countries has been narrowing. So there is a fundamental aspect to that as well, which we need to take into account. Now, that's basically what we have. we will have to watch this space closely. China doesn't have to sell substantial portion of US bonds. A small but chunky sale could make the point to Trump and his advisors that we will match you in escalating this